Welcome back. So, guess what, guys? I start school on Tuesday. So, I'm gonna tell you my plan for the video. My plan for the video is to talk to you guys about my 45-day-ish, 60-day-ish thoughts about my new position. And then I would also like to touch on the fact that now I'm about to start juggling not only work and family and everything, which is what I've been doing for the last couple months, but I'm also about to start out my bachelor's. So it's about to get crazy real quick. During this quarantine, it's very important that you know that you should stay home, help us flatten the curve, and so that way we can save lives. It's my opinions and views are solely my own. They do not reflect the company that I work for or any other employers that I have had in the past. I just wanted to put that out there because this is a blog, a personal blog, and it's my experience only, my thoughts and opinions only. So it's not my thoughts and opinions are not representing the nursing profession as a whole, because for all the nurses, I'm not representing all nurses. I'm representing myself, my experience as an RN, working, living life, and going to school and trying to be a multilingual nurse. So there's that. So my thoughts on home health so far. The hours. I made a little list to keep myself a little, on track. So the hours. The hours are. So I was always the nurse that said that I would never work day shift. I will always be a night shift nurse, and that changed for me when my family needs became a little bit. It required me to be on the same schedule as everybody else. And of course, I didn't plan for this whole COVID thing to happen. So as it is right now, my husband is working from home and the kids are at home all day, and I'm the one that's out working. So my hours, I'm pretty much in charge of my own schedule. I mean, of course, I have to work with the patients that I take care of or that I, case manage. So like it's very flexible, but so my start times tend to vary. But now that I'm building my caseload up and I'm getting more patients, my hours are starting to be more like 8:30. I don't have any 8 a.m.s. So I pretty much start at like 8:30, and then it depends on the day, but typically I'm done. I'm probably back home around 5:30, 5:30. And some like Friday I had a late day. I didn't get home. Well, then I also left my debit card at Wendy's. So, but I didn't get home till like 8 o'clock. But that was my own fault because I left my debit card at Wendy's at noon and didn't realize it until like 7. So, yeah, so far it's working for me. Like when I first started, I was going to bed at like 9:30. And I was able to sleep all night, wake up the next day, and I was fine. Like I didn't need coffee. I was good. Like I was, didn't get tired during the day. Everything was great. And that was in the beginning. But now that I'm starting a little bit earlier, I got in the habit, since I was starting late on some days, I got in the habit of staying up a little bit later. I'm like, oh, I can, if I go to bed by 11:30, I'll have like 7 hours of sleep. And then I'll wake up and then, and so, yeah. But so then and then my kids waking up in the middle of the night slowly got me off track. So to where, now I'm tired and ready to like go back to sleep by the time I get them back to sleep.
Which I thought I'd be past that point, but apparently not yet. So,
work-life balance, which I kind of mentioned it. So when I first started, I had a lot of work-life balance. Right now, I still do. So me doing what I'm trying to do now is kind of leave myself enough time between patients to where my drive time to the next house is, I still can make it to their house on time, or like the time I say that I'm going to be there. And then I try to leave myself a little time so that way I can chart afterwards. And so far that's been working as long as I stick to it. And there's been like this past week a few times where I've like come home and finished up things or whatever, or working on things, or I had to set my schedule up and set my iPad up to where my workflow would be easy as far as contacts and addresses and my whole schedule for the next week and everything. So that took a little time to set up. But other than that, I mean, in the evenings, like, I still have a decent amount of time with the kids and stuff. I think as I go to bed earlier, I'll have more. But I'm going to start that this week too, being in bed by 9:30. The job itself, I love it. Like, so I started out in med surge, and I med surge is my happy place. Med surge, eventually, in the hospital, I kind of grew to the point where I didn't want to do it anymore. And then I switched. I went into, special care and all that, and I loved special care. And now, and I kind of evolved a little bit with that too, because I'm like, well, now I want to have the best of both worlds. And doing this job, I do, because the company that I work for, they see like pediatric all the way up to geriatric patients. I don't personally have any pediatric patients currently, but the possibility is there. So, if it happens or if there's a need, I can. But so I like having a hodgepodge of different things. I like doing wound care. I like doing, IV care and pick line dressing changes and teaching and, trying to help my patients as much as I possibly can. I think that's the biggest thing, is keeping them out of the hospital as much as possible, as far as like learning how to manage their disease processes and, keeping regular communications with their primary care doctors. So I like that part of it. I do. So I enjoy it. I feel like I have like a mobile office in my car, and I have like a file folder, and it really feeds into my need for office supplies. Like, I am really big on buying notebooks, pens, post-its, like everything you would need for an office. I like buying this stuff. Um, so I feel like I have a mobile office, and I like it. So the job itself, I like. I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon. Time management, again, that kind of goes back to like what I was saying about charting, leaving myself some charting time as well as drive time to the next patient, so I'm not bringing it all home. And plus, I don't like to-do lists. I don't like having things over my head that I have to do. I like being able to check off things. So time management, I'm doing pretty decent. There is some room for improvement, but as far as like, getting in my documentation and stuff like that, I think I'm doing pretty good. Traveling. So I'm not, prior to this job, I wasn't really big on driving. Like, I wouldn't say I didn't like it, but I don't know, it just wasn't something that I thought I'd be doing, but a lot of, because I've always liked to just go to one place, work, and go home previously. But now I appreciate it for the solitude, the driving from place to place, and not all of my drive time between houses is not always like 15-20 minutes. Sometimes it's only like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but there is that time where I have to drive on the highway for like 20 minutes or something like that. And those times, I like to turn on my music and jamming and singing. And I thought I would listen to my podcast a lot more, but I haven't really been listening to podcasts a lot. I've been listening to a lot of music. I have a headset, or I put them on speaker, call like my family, or my husband, checking on the kids and stuff like that. So yeah, so I don't mind the traveling as long as I got my music and everything. I'm good. I don't really have too much downtime. If I have downtime, it's probably the way I scheduled my visits. And one time I had like like a 2 hour window. But what I ended up doing during that 2 hour window was making phone calls to physician offices and, charting and trying to schedule my visits for the following week. So, I ended up doing little things like that, things to help me out, in the days coming. That's how I feel about home health right now. Like, I feel like, why did it take me so long to get here? Which I'm grateful for my journey, because it gave me experience. I don't think as a new nurse I would have the confidence to be out there by myself a lot. But as a nurse with, some experience under her belt, I feel like, I don't know why it took me so long to get to home health. Like, I like it. I do. So, Also, so yeah, I mentioned that I was going to start my school back up again, my classes. I have three, and counting this class that I'm about to take starting Tuesday. I have three classes until I'm done with my bachelor's, and I mentioned it previously back in December, and I had to drop out of my classes that I was taking, which pushed my graduation back and everything. Um, so that's the two classes that I'm taking. Well, the one class that I'm taking, I'm repeating two, but I'm going to do one class at a time. And so the first one's really easy. It's not nursing related necessarily. And then I only have two nursing courses after that, and I'm done. So hopefully I'll be done before Thanksgiving this year, and I'll be done because my classes are 8 weeks, 8 weeks long. So yeah, so I'm hoping to be done by November, and I'm just gonna take my time. I'm not going to, try to go pedal to the metal and juggle a full time job and family and everything else, especially with everything that's going on. So um, I'm just going to take it one day at a time. And the biggest thing that I'm nervous about is, just juggling everything, deadlines, papers, and discussion posts. I think I will be okay. Like today, I actually feel really good. I don't know if it's because I got a full night's sleep. I started using that app Calm, and it really does. It works for me. Like it puts me in a deep sleep. And the kids were, at my parents' house, so I slept like a baby, and that could be why I'm all cheery right now. So, um, but yeah, so I'll keep you guys updated on how that goes. I'll talk about my bachelor experience, prior to the last three classes, because it's really more to it why I'm taking my time right now. It has a lot to do with mental health, and not saying that I'm like got serious mental issues or anything like that, but in the previous video, I always said self-care is very important, and that's what I'm saying when I say mental health. So I have to learn to take care of myself, and that comes first before I try to, give to others and give, more of myself than what I have available for me. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Shawnee's World, just to keep up with what I'm doing. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for watching.